Peace, family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing the Virgo new moon happening on August 23rd. As usual, there's a lot. And so every time we have a new moon, it'll always be conjunct the sun. It's not, this will be the first of two new moons in Virgo. The second one will be a black moon and an eclipse. So you can see that it's not quite close enough for it to be an eclipse. It has to be within 5 degrees of a planet in order for it to be considered an eclipse. And so we have to look at Mercury because Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. And then we have a yod. So it's in conjunct Pluto and Aquarius retrograde. And Pluto and Aquarius retrograde is sextile Neptune and Saturn and Aries retrograde. And it's also in conjunct the new moon is in conjunct Neptune and Aries. So let me see if I can make this a little darker. My drawing is horrible. Okay. And this formation is considered a yard or a finger of God. You'll hear a lot of people talking about this. I'm just seeing them as sextiles and inconjunctions. Now, inconjunctions are like walking around with a pebble in your shoe, so they could be very annoying. But Pluto, Aquarius and Aries are sextiling one another. That's a positive aspect, but it's like the way my teacher described sextiles is like you have all the ingredients that you need to make a cake, but now you have to make the cake, which means you have to put the effort in to put the cake batter in, all the ingredients in, and mix it up. And so sextiles are great. They're positive energies, but if you don't use the energy, you'll lose it. So use it or lose it, And I think that's going to kind of be the problem here more than anything. So we could still kind of be in this phase of kind of not feeling worthy, not ready. I still don't know who I am. I'm still working on building up my confidence. I'm still daydreaming or envisioning my vision. I don't feel quite ready yet to move forward on these new ideas, new perspectives, or you're simply just still doing the research, right? And everybody's on different timelines. It's going to take everybody different periods of time to work through their process, their new life, their new identity, and kind of figuring out who they are, what they want to be, and all that other stuff. We're still getting some clarity too, because this happens just as Mercury's kind of coming out of shadow. And it's attached to an eclipse. So something is still being released and let go of, making room for newer things. And Virgo is all about decluttering, detoxing. And you could also be healing from the things that you have to let go of, right? And that takes time, right? Accepting that this is my new life. I'm not going to be with these old friends, these old circles, these old relationships. Maybe lost some family, or person, place, or thing, or you're an empty nester now and your children aren't there. If you have like there's something major that has happened in your life over these last few, months or so, that we've been kind of being forced to release and let go of things that no longer bring us joy, right? That are no longer benefiting our um, performance, our um, building process, our ability to get things done, a support system that helps something, stay structured and steady. At the very same time, you could also be realizing that you have a whole bunch of things to look forward to and be grateful for and thankful for. And you've kind of made a lot of those changes, maybe by force, maybe not by choice. And so there's some sadness there, because we're always, whenever we're talking about the moon now, we're going to be looking at this wonderful aspect of Venus and Jupiter conjunction, which is also about letting go of the past, emotional releasing. Um, Memories don't live like people do. They always reminiscing, just really sitting back, like the good times that you had, the sucky times that you had, um, pain, frustration, sadness, a lot of crying, be careful for Neptune. I mean, yeah, Venus. This Jupiter and Venus conjunction can really be about overindulging, so drinking, and overeating, emotionally eating, um, as well as addictions, right? You might have had a relapse, or you're just overspending or spending money you don't got. You were supposed to save that damn money. And you sitting over here because you're in pain, you're hurting, you're healing. And so, overeating, overspending, over drinking, overindulging, and not really caring about the consequences. Well, Virgo's going to come in and say, well, you knew you wasn't supposed to be doing that. Now it's time to clear that up. So this can be things like, having to send a family friend to rehab, or having a family invention. What do you call that when when somebody's like, okay, this person's fallen completely off the deep end. How do we wheel them back in and bring them back to health, so to speak? And that might take a group of close friends and families coming together in a circle to say, we just wanted to talk to you. We understand that you're going. What do you call that? Is that an family intervention? It could be something like that. And again, it doesn't have to be, this is going to be different for everybody, but there's some kind of habit, or falling back on a habit or pattern that we've been trying to work on. And it might have been very up and down, back and forth on changing, trying to change, trying to keep the healthy habit or pattern, but somewhere along the line over these last 6 months or so, you might have fallen off, right? And so Virgo's coming in to say, well, let's try this again, and you'll have more support 2 times. So you'll have this new moon in Virgo coming on the 23rd, which is the Saturday coming up, as well as at the end of September, you'll have another new moon, which is called a black moon, and it's eclipse season. So something most definitely will be eclipsed out. And so how this can be really happening for people, again, depending on where you're at, is that you'll receive the sweetness of this. And we'll talk about more about what this can be when I get to the notes or whatever. But some people will experience the sweetness of what this is, and they're getting started now with this new moon. If you have planets at anywhere between 0 and 5 degrees, especially Virgo, in your Virgo area of life, if you have this between 0 and 5 degrees, or you'll get it next month, you'll get the sweetness and the continuation and the more positive side of this. Or it'll be vice versa, where you're getting the not so sweet part of this right now, where you're like, oh fuck, I already ran out of money. I already don't have the funds. Um, this might lead to you having to tell people, oh, I can't really make it, or having to ask for money or support or borrowing money from friends and family and stuff like that until you get back up on your feet, or just like a real hardcore wake up call or reality check that your bad habits and patterns have caught up to you now, and now it's time to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and really 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 get down and busy, either this one or the next one that'll be happening when you're coming to some like, fuck, I really got to change now. I really got to work this out and figure this out, and get serious about my health and habits, my patterns and daily schedule and things of that matter. So, ooh, it's a lot. It's a lot. So there's that. So again, we're having the Virgo new moon at 0 degrees on August 23rd. Um, New moons happen whenever the sun and moon are conjunct, and they're a great time to set new intentions around Virgo themes. The mutable signs will feel this the most, which is Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And so this can be around health, organization, and practical goals. I do really, 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 really feel like, only because I'm already seeing this in my life, I have like a shitload of Virgos in my life. Um, and so I've always noticed with Virgos that this is a health crisis. Again, something that has already been showing up to you, but for whatever reason, you thought you was invincible and you could just deal with it when you get there type of thing. And now Virgo's going to really highlight it and bring it up to a point where you can't ignore it, or it's reached the next level of crisis, pain, need to heal, fix, resolve type of energy. And you don't really have a choice anymore. And so I really do feel like the bulk of this is going to be around health issues, right? Um, and again, everybody's going to be at different places and spaces with this. But this doesn't have to be a crisis. This could also just be that um, intuitively we're like, okay, it's a new season. Get your dental health, whiten your teeth, take care of your um, body hygiene, switching it up for the season, right? Because it's nice still for now, but we are coming into fall season. And so there could be a lot of preparation for that. Whatever that is for you, that process is for you, and just kind of preparing and prepping for that. Um, this could also just be um, you're cleaning, getting organized, switching things around, right? It's time to bring in the furniture that you have out on the patio, things like that, or planning and rounding up your last bit of summer exciting plans, or even starting to plan for fall things to do, and things of that nature. Um, with the combination of the yard, I do feel like this is more um, like healers coming in. So maybe you don't want to go to the dentist or you don't want to go to the doctors. These are things that you are absolutely against. And so you're researching and looking, finding shamans, healers, practitioners who are a little bit more outside of the scope of, the regular doctor and system and stuff like that. This could also be like pet health. Um, this could also be changing the types of foods that you eat because of the seasons changing. especially with the Jupiter and Venus and Cancer. Oh my God. I've been adding in spices and herbs and shit. I don't even know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't, but it's been fun. We've been having we've been having like competitions about who can make the best muffins and cookies and things of that nature together as a family. So you could be doing little stuff like that, switching up what herbs and spices you use because of the fall seasons changing. Like a lot of these types of things can be happening, but it could be because, again, over the past 6 months, you've had digestion issues, constipation, stomach pain. This could even be about your mental focus and needing to calm the energy with um, Mercury being in an eclipse or connected to eclipse energy and being in the sign of Leo where we've had all these retrogrades and listen, listen. No. Who signed up this? I absolutely did not sign up for this. Okay, it can get real loud in here. You know, if you find yourself talking to yourself out loud, just welcome to an air science life. Okay. Um, especially with Uranus there, you could feel like you've been in a retrograde this ever since Uranus entered into Gemini. But it's very fun and exciting. Thank God it's more upbeat. At least it's not sad or whatever, but good or bad, any amount of that, too much of that can become, no matter how you chop and screw it up, super overwhelming, right? And so meditating more, learning and understanding how to mentally calm yourself down or find peace or a peaceful place where you can go to do that. Uranus and Gemini can definitely be about going for walks and riding your bike, or finding groups to do this with, or um, like tracking your health and how well your health is doing on apps and things of that nature, and how to get more structured and organized through apps or websites that kind of help with these types of things. I think we can see a lot of that, like counting your steps, right? Um, so definitely like nervous system. This could also be chronic pain, rashes with the Aries and Neptune energy, skin conditions, like eczema, dry skin, um, hives or outbreaks like that and stuff like that. Fevers, headaches, um, and then again, with the digestion and constipation, this is about gut health and detoxing. So maybe drinking teas that help with these particular types of things. Alkaline diets for sure. With Pluto and Aquarius here, we're kind of, again, we're either turning into a shaman or getting more creative, innovative when it comes to our healing and health, um, and, or some type of healer. Whether we're finding people like that to come in and support us on that journey or someone we can learn from about those particular, like what exactly is an alkaline diet? How do you maintain it? And things of that nature. Getting grounded for sure. Any kind of herbal remedies. Cleaning can become super spiritual. So with the Venus and Jupiter conjunction, this can be about cleaning your house with more natural products, you know, doing the sages for protection and putting up particular things in front of your door for protection, making people, take off their shoes before you enter your house. Like you could get real super practical and a little you know, more spiritually inclined here when it comes to your home and family life or your home environment. Even like with art and creativity, with the Venus in Cancer and Mercury in Leo can be very, very creative, but it's old, it's ancient. I always think of like stick figures or stick figure art or something very tribal, or ritualistic, or, um, symbolic, symbology in some way, shape, or form kind of art here, right? Um, um, and so you could be decorating your house in that type of way. Don't have to be, but it's definitely um a thing. Um, you could be doing protection spells. I always think of Black Panther when I think of protection spells. I don't know why, but I think they had a lot of symbology in that movie about old ancient remedies and rituals, especially when he went to go to go speak to his dad because he was being um, crowned as the new king. And so there could be like a lot of these types of things happening in the family where maybe not somebody has actually passed just quite yet, but they're planning for it, and so even death and birth, with Mercury and Leo, can become very spiritual. Um, and it doesn't have to be spiritual. Not everybody's going to be into that type of stuff, but it could be a time in your life where, a parent is getting older, and there's a lot of talks or gatherings and meetings between the family of who's going to take that spot. How are the roles going to change, so to speak, um, and things of that nature. And it could just be that your children are at an age where they're growing and roles need to be changed for one reason or another. Or they're just growing up and things are changing because of their growth, right? Things of that nature. Parenting and parenting skills can be super important here or coming up here, or you're just sharing stories back and forth about your culture, who you are, where you come from, family memories, childhood memories, revisiting places where you might have lived and grew up, and things of that nature can be going on here. Um, and even if it's not like African or ancient culture, it's more like Indian culture. I do think this brings in that kind of which is where I'm getting the stick figure art from, that they drew on the walls, or they had circle time, uh, you know, to tell stories about these particular types of things. But they are two very different, but the same, but different. And so I thought it was important to also incorporate very specifically, like Blackfoot Indian, you know, culture as well could become super significant um, at this time in some way, shape, or form. Again, instant sage crystals for sure. You could definitely be cleaning. This would be a great time to clean them. Um, Walking barefoot on the ground. This could also be scrapbooking, shrines, again, if you have lost somebody, altars, um, you know, making stuff like that. Or again, it's just photo albums, again, sharing stories, old stories with family and things of that nature, siblings. Uh, um, or, this is just a baby shower, to be quite honest. Uh, mm, Also, liquid vitamins and minerals. I think that's going to be huge. Um, is having some kind of liquid vitamins. I bought some soursop in liquid form. I feel like it gets straighter to the problem, or attacks the problem quicker than pills. But then again, everybody's different, so that might just be me. But it is flu season, right? And so stocking up on those things could be really great to do that. If you do any kind of scribing at this time, poetry, singing, I do think Virgos um, and Geminis are like the poets, or even like dancing. I think ancient ones, they call it whirling or yoga. Um, um, but really any kind of movement here. Um, I think you can have some pretty profound or prophetic things that you realize you're writing about, or you have something very profound or prophetic to say or write at this time. So journaling would be really helpful for those who are into that type of thing. Praying, showing gratitude for life, acknowledging your ancestors. Again, music, sound vibration stuff, especially with now that Neptune and Saturn are in Aries. Aries is a fire sign. It wants to do karate and um, boxing and weightlifting and all those types of things. But Neptune is very spiritual. This is about Pisces. It's in the house of, in the sign of, in the planet of Pisces. And so I think it can be like, we can start hearing a lot more about counseling with movement, or counseling while walking, or counseling with something else other than just talk therapy. Because you hold trauma in the body. And so yeah. Talk therapy could be great and is great and has helped many people. But I think with this particular energy, fire and air is about, we want to get on with it. We want to make moves. Like, let's go. I do think that you'll see a lot of people like needing to move around, and it'll be a lot more healthier. Now you're talking and you're healing, your body through some kind of movement, yoga. It could be Tai Chi. I mean, call it whatever you want. Um, Even if it's none of those things, and you're simply just going to dance, or you're doing these things while listening to music or sound vibration stuff, can be very, very, very healing simultaneously. Um, yeah, I was on that for a really long time. We haven't even gotten into the astrology. So 0 degrees is the purest degree of the zodiac. So we have a lot more support here to start something new around our routines, being of service, um, being more goal oriented. This could even be starting a new job, or new processes and um, system changes at work. More support to cut out bad habits, more support to declutter by like having a yard sale or refurbishing. Pluto and Aquarius can definitely be about um, like, how do you make something old new and getting really innovative or creative. Mercury and Leo with that. Um, Making it like bringing it back to a shop that specializes in a piece of art that you've had for years or whatever, and you bring it to a shop that can spice it up a little bit. Or you know how to do this and you're doing it yourself and you're hanging it back up or putting it back out there, or you sell it, right? Um, mm, I mean, the bottom line is we are definitely ready to do something different to get better results. Even if, you know, we always knew that we had to do that and it was very obvious, it'll become super clear now that things definitely need to change. And so Virgo is a mutable earth sign. It's ruled by Mercury and it lives in the sixth house. So this is analysis, services, help, pets, attention to detail, operations, coworkers, job numbers, and helping others, healing and wellness, trying to kind of let go of the perfectionist and overthinking and overcritical energy here, to embrace these things and kind of overcome them. So bringing light to them is really going to be annoying and piss a lot of people off. But at the same time, it's also going to be super clear, like, how can I do this differently? And you'll find other ways on how to work through those things, which is a lot of some of the things that I brought up at the very beginning of the video. Um, a lot of purification here, the opportunity to purify things, do some self-care, rituals and sacred actions to kind of heal, release, let go, kind of clean things out here. This is also just a really great time to take inventory on how things are done on a daily basis. So again, going back to like using apps and stuff, so you can start tracking yourself to see. Um, um, this way you can kind of step back and look and see like, is this supportive? Is this loving? Is it caring? Is it healthy? Um, to whatever current responsibilities that you have going on in your life. There could be some shocking kind of insights that you didn't see because this will square Uranus and Gemini. I don't think I showed that on the thing either. But mutable energy is very flexible. It's easy to change. It's a little bit more open-minded. So I think again, we're ready to make these changes, really get organized for the future. Um, and being more ritualistic with our daily habits and routines, kind of thinking outside the box. But just remember, it can also be super fucking annoying, or it's coming from something that is going to be super annoying with the inconjunctions. Um, this could also be about lung health and air quality too. Even I think about air travel, right? Because Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. This can be about traveling. Um, I think Virgo's more traffic, to be quite frank, but also air travel. I do remember there being some issues with that too, so it'll be quite interesting to see if stuff like that comes out. But with Mercury and Leo, you have to look at Mercury, um, because this new moon is ruled by Mercury. So I talked about the arts, parenting, um, birth and death can become super sacred, or we get more detail oriented about our creative projects. Mm, learning to have more fun, healthier dating habits and patterns, and assessing those things in your sex life, you know. Um, doing yoni steams. I forgot to talk about that too. Yoni steams would be very helpful too for releasing. With the in conjunction to Pluto and Aquarius, I do think from like a worldview perspective, we can hear a lot of changes going on or coming down the pipeline around AI when it comes to our work. And it could bring up some fear around the goals that we have and whether or not we're going to be able to achieve those goals now with so many changes going on out in the world. Or this can be like people, a lot of people complaining about, how negative people and gossip and arguing and chaos and drama and anger and frustration and bitterness, either in the workplace or your family dynamics, it's stealing your joy and peace. And what are you going to do to protect that at all costs? Boundaries, right? So a lot of this is about being selfish, um, and not really buying into the drama. Um, being having a schedule, a set schedule, like these are the times, the days I'm available to entertain outside world things, no matter what it is. But these are the days that are for me, that are set aside for me to get structure for my week ahead, my day ahead, having like morning routines, night routines, and things of that nature, where you fill up your own cup and where you travel for yourself, what you do for yourself, where you love on yourself, where you take care of yourself. Those things are going to become super, super, super important to master and get really, really grounded in. Um, as a way to kind of deal with the changes going on in the outside world, and how you show up within those things that are happening, or whether you do or you don't. Um, this is also about building integrity and redefining your identity, right? And protecting that. I do think there's going to be a new generation of children that we're noticing coming in, a race of babies that hate the ladies. Isn't that what Tupac said? I don't think they're necessarily gay. I've been kind of tussling back and forth with this particular energy, with Uranus and Gemini. I think I keep saying gay, but I was having a conversation with my youngest sister, who's really a part of this newer generation that's up and coming, all of these YNs. I think I talked about them too. And it was very interesting what she was telling me about being gay, bisexual, or that whole LGBTQ thing. I didn't know they added more letters to that particular what do you call it? I don't know. Um, and so it really, really made me think they might not necessarily be gay, bi, or whatever other identity they have within that, but cross dressers. Gemini is not gay. Gemini are cross dressers, right? Very atypical, uh, finicky in that kind of way about the way they present themselves to the world, right? And so these are guys that wear half shirts, um, or wear heels or skirts. But they're not gay. This is just, you know, uh double identity, male and female. We got to express both of those. And everybody's going to do that in different ways, but I think generationally, because of the trauma from the previous generation, it's like, what hasn't been healed, or what did they witness and see? Who raised them? Which is most likely television, music, uh and really, really having a deeper conversation with our children, and educating them, helping them heal through whatever wounded childhood things, which I think is going to be really fucking hard. Have you ever tried having a conversation with a young child about what they think they know because they've seen it on television? It's like, bitch, I'm your mom. So you believe the TV over me? It's crazy. It's like having a real war in your house. And I think a lot of these things can become super, super clear, like, oh shit, this generation is fucking doomed. We thought the one prior to that was bad. No, 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 no. And so really addressing the fact that children are being raised by children, we're getting younger and younger, having families or playing house, and the whole dysfunction around that, and how these kids growing up are going to identify themselves can be, like Tupac said, we can have a race of babies that hate the ladies, or they want to be them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I would love to hear other people's thoughts on what they think that is. Am I off? Like, where are you at with this? Have you seen it? Do you know what the fuck I'm talking about? Scary. It's very, very scary. Even if it's not so much about being gay or how they identify with themselves, I still feel like there's um a softer, it's not as masculine, but this is all masculine energy. And if it's not that, it's like they're lazy. They don't want to do stuff. They're uninspired, because they don't know who they are. They don't have any faith, or things like that. Very lost, very, very, very lost. Like, these are you watch the zombie movies. Hit this generation right here. They're zombies. Then up and next and coming are are the zombies. They're gonna be walking around here with their eyes wide fucking shut, like, and let this whole system fall down and change on a drastic level. It's gonna be like, and you take away what I was used to, what I grew up with. On top of all of that, what does that look like? What does it become? Like, what kind of society is that? And then I think the younger generation underneath them coming up are going to be the ones to be like, let's clean this shit up and not do that. Right. And I think it skips every generation like that, anyways. Right. I don't think that's really too new, but it'll be very interesting to see for sure. Um, this is also like what's trending. Um, what are you listening to? What are you watching? How do you interact with social media and your devices? Um, these kind of trendy topics like, oh, you don't got no money, you still don't got no job. Um, these are all external things. I'm hearing Genuine song. It ain't none of your friends' business, ain't none of your like why do we care about these external things? We should be more focused on what's inside and building and healing that. And again, that goes back to what I talked about at the very beginning of the video and all those different healing modalities. Um, it's going to be hard. This progress is going to be hard. Um, a little disillusioned and unsettling and uncomfortable. But we will get through it. I do think we're going to make the changes necessary. It's just, it's just going to take, it's going to be really fucking annoying. I'm trying to sugarcoat this shit, but uh, I still feel like it's more positive than anything, if I'm being super, super, super honest, but annoying nonetheless. So yeah, as usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.